How's it going, and welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the, trying to get it in focus there, that way. This is the Pocket Master from Sonicake, and what this is, I'll try to get it in focus. I have to put it, yeah, there we go. What this is, it's a multi-effect unit, it's an amp modeler, it's a looper, and it's a drum machine all in one tiny little very affordable package. It's a desktop unit that will be used for like recording tracks or jamming at home and stuff like that, right? So just to go through it, what it is first. So you've got two switches on the front here, and these cycle, I'll try and show this, these cycle up and down through patches. I've created 4 patches on it. And if you hit both switches, it brings you into the tuner mode, and if you hold both switches, it brings you into the looper. Then you can also go in here and there is effects, settings, drum machine, and then shut down on the controls. And that's all the controls you have on the front. But also on the back here, there's an input and output. There's a USB port for charging it, because this is battery powered, which is really useful. And there is a USB port for connecting it to the computer to update it, but also there's an editor that you can get to edit it. So it's kind of like an interface that you control mostly with your phone, with a really good app, or with a desktop, but you can do all the interfacing you need from these buttons and knob on the front. And I think if I was going away on holiday, for example, I could use this as my audio interface for recording guitar parts, which would be really useful. And it has a lot of good features for a very, very affordable price. Sonicake are really good at this, you know, they're really good at making really usable gear at really affordable price points, and they really should be commended for that. Like, they make brilliant entry-level gear that punches well above its weight. Like the Matrobox Pro, which I think is about €300, is a completely giggable, fully featured amp modeler and multi-effects unit that sounds great. And this is kind of like all the fundamental sounds of that available in a very, very small package. So what I'm going to do now is I've recorded a track using all the sounds from this. Let's take a listen to that, and then after that we're going to go into the audio demo of hearing how it sounds and what it can do. So here is the track. Have a listen to it and you'll hear how well this can record guitar parts in the song. So there you go. All the parts of that were recorded direct with this Pocket Master, Sonicake Pocket Master. So yeah, really usable little unit. So let's have a listen to what I can do now. Okay, so to demo the Pocket Master, what I'm doing is I'm playing my Strat if I stop banging it off things. I'm definitely damaging the value of my guitars by how much I bang them off things. I'm playing my Strat. This is a 2014 60th anniversary American Fender Strat. It's my main Strat. I'm playing my Strat into the Pocket Master, out of the Pocket Master into the interface. What I've done is I have set up 4 different patches: a clean patch, a dirty patch, a heavy patch, and a lead patch, right? They're all really, really basic. The Pocket Master's available effects are pretty basic. It's got like some mods, a good few different delays, some nice reverbs. It's got 2 overdrive pedals, 3 or 4 distortion pedals, and it's got 20 or so amp models. What I'm doing is, rather than going through stock presets, which is just not something I ever do, I just went in immediately and set up 4 presets that will be starting point should I want to record something. As I mentioned, I don't think this is a gigging tool, this is a recording tool. So how I'm going to do that is, what I'm going to show you now is those 4 presets, right? So what I'm going to do is just show you the 4 presets first and how the unit sounds, what amp models I'm using and stuff like that. And then I'm going to get the app and record the screen of the app to show you how you would necessarily engage different effects, because it's not really very easy to engage effects on the unit itself. It's kind of cumbersome, but I'll show you how that works as well. So for my clean sound, I always favour a basement where I can, because a basement sort of has a top end similar to a JTM 45 as opposed to a Fender Deluxe reverb sound. I prefer the kind of top end, to have that top end that you can roll off with your tone knob, right? So I'm using a Fender basement, with the gain about halfway, I think, maybe a little bit more than halfway actually, to get a little bit more oomph out of it. Not necessarily dirt, but a little bit more sort of compression and presence. I have the basement into the British 212 cab as my clean sound, right? And it sounds like this. That also has the mag delay on it. So it's nice ambient sound, and the stratiness of the Strat is really coming through. If I go down to the out of phase back, so that's the clean sound, right? If I switch on then to the dirty sound, what I'm using here is I'm using the Vox AC30 preamp, but with the same British 212 cab, and I get my sort of just past clean sound. What you get there is really cool. By the way, the volume knob of my Strat has all of a sudden become scratchy, so I need to address that, so apologies if you hear scratchiness. What I like about this is it's dirty, but it's got that kind of Vox compression thing. But because I'm using the same 2x12 cab, it matches well with the dirty sound. So here's the with the clean sound. Dirty sound, back to the clean sound. If I was to use the Vox cab, the character would just change a bit too much for me between the two of them. Really nice, just past dirty sound. And you'll notice that I don't have any delay on that one. So then if I go from that up to the heavy sound, this is a JCM 800 into the same cab. Which isn't that heavy on a Strat, but if you had a Les Paul, that'd be pretty thick and creamy. And again, I'm using the same 2x12 cabinet. And then last, I jump on, I've got my lead sound, which is the same JCM 800 with a tube screamer in front of it, a little bit more level. Like those 4 sounds in terms of direct sounds, completely useful. And you could, in a bind, cycle through them with your foot. Now, how well the unit would stand up to that in a live situation, I don't know. I wouldn't be confident with it in that space. The buttons are too small. The unit's made of plastic. I don't think it's intended to be stomped on. If it was intended to be stomped on, there'd be regular stomp box switches on it. Point being though, that I've got some good usable sounds out of this there, that for in a recording situation I could plug in into my laptop or into an interface, or actually you wouldn't even need that. You could just use this as the interface. If you say I was going away and hold down and I wanted to record some guitar parts, point is the sound quality of those guitar parts is of a high enough quality to rely on this to get you good direct recorded sounds. And in that way, this is a very useful tool. It's small, it's battery powered, it's affordable, it's got all the different kind of requisite effects you're going to need, and amp models and stuff. And in that way, it's a useful tool. I don't think you can use this as a gigging tool in isolation by itself. I do have a use for it as a gigging tool, which will be put one amp on and put it at the end of your signal chain after your pedal board should your amp go down live into the PA. I think it could be very useful for that. Again, battery powered, you don't need to worry about a power outlet. Keep it charged up, put it in the gig bag, in the pocket of your gig bag when you go to a gig. If the amp goes down, just plug it into it, have it set to, in this case, a Fender Basement for me, and I could just run all my pedals into the front of it, and it could be a really good amp replacement. One that I don't need to have, like, consider in my rig, you know what I mean? I can just put it on the ground, should my amp go down, turn it on, it's battery powered, off we go, happy days. In that way, it's another useful tool. So the other thing I want to get into then is just some of the functionality, right? So I'm going to go back to clean for a second. If I wanted to edit that, I'd hold down this value knob and go in and hit the effects, and then I can cycle through. Right now, for example, I have a compressor on. I actually don't have it on. So if I wanted to turn the compressor on, that's the compressor on patch 1. Sorry, that's the noise gate on patch 1. The noise gate's very strong. So if I want to cycle over to by using the back and forth switches, you go through the signal chain, right? So amp, drive pedal, compressor's on. I can go and turn on the drive pedal. I can go to the amp, and there's the amp choice. I have a mode switch for it. I've gain, presence, volume, bass, middle and treble. And then I get back to the start again. So that's how all the effects work. You just cycle through them. If I go to the cab, that's the cab. I go to the EQ, I have it off. The effects too, I think it's a tremolo in there, for example. So I'm a bit loud now. I want to turn off the overdrive. Go back to the overdrive here. No. Here, just turn it off. So it's not I suppose it is pretty easy to navigate. You hit the knob, you get to the effects, you go in, you turn on and off what you want, right? So then to get out of that, I hit these 2 switches. Do I want to save the preset? No, I don't. And I get back to the main menu. If I wanted to use a looper, hold down the 2 switches and I have the looper. So I did this earlier on. As people that regularly watch my channel know, looping is not my strong suit. Now, I've gone in there and I'm going to loop, but I want to turn off that tremolo. I didn't realise I left it on. I think if I hit these 2 switches again, yeah, and then I go in, hit this, go to effects, scroll along here to the tremolo, which is in effects 2, and turn it off. And then I hit the 2 switches. Do you want to set the preset? Okay. Save, and I'm back to the main menu. Hit these 2 switches. My battery's running out now, so I'm going to try. Oh, by the way, here's the tuner. Tuner works great. 2 switches to get back out again, hold the 2 switches to loop. So I'm going to record that little loop now, and I'll only get it once around, so. stop it, and then I can play it. You'll notice I have reduced the level of the looper so I can play over it. I'm going to switch my neck pickup for a slightly different tonality, and then I can just riff over it. You get the idea. And then I can stop it with that button, play it with this button, stop it and erase it. And that's how the looper works. So what I'm going to do now is get the phone out really quickly and just show you how much easier it is to control individual effects and stuff within the phone. Okay, so to connect, all you do is you turn on the Bluetooth switch here and you go in with your phone, you open up the Sonic Link, I think it's called, app, and then you connect. And as you can see here on the phone, I am currently in my clean preset, and there is, I have the available effects. So it's really easy, right? So you can hear, say I wanted to switch off that delay. So you go in, you look at your list of effects. You've got your noise reduction, your effects 1, which in my case is a compressor, a drive pedal, an amp, an IOR, EQ, effects 2, which is a tremolo, delay and reverb, right? So if I want to say turn off that delay, I tap the delay and I can just turn it off by tapping that, actually swiping it, and turn the delay back on, swipe it. I can control the mix, make it much. I can control the time. A bit more. So the controls and the delay work pretty well. I'm going to move that mix back down, move the time back up. And then I can go into, say, the amp, and I can say make it dirtier, right, the dirt level right up to the top. Or indeed make it cleaner. I can control the volume or whatever I want. Into effects 1, I've got my compressor. Into the drive pedal, I can turn the drive pedal on. A bit loud, I can just bring the volume down. A bit dirty, this is a tube screamer, by the way. I can change that by hitting this, going into distortion. I can choose a JP disc, which is causing massive peaking. And maybe a fuzz, I could go for a grey fuzz, out, close that, or OK, and the level down. Same thing applies into the IOR. I can have my cab on my brick greenback 212. I can go in, I've loaded some IORs, all the IORs I wanted to change to my V30 212, go OK. And there's a volume knob on the IOR. So same applies to all the different presets. I can go onto my cancel. I can go onto my dirty preset. Again, say I wanted to change the IOR, go into the IOR, I'm already in there, and go onto my user IORs, and I could select the Allure 90s. Or the, the V30 212. So you can load your own IORs, you can control everything really easily within the app. It's just, all round, it's just a very useful playing experience when you're playing at home. I don't think it's a gigging tool other than as an amp replacement, but I think as a home recording and sort of noodling around at home tool, which is not something I do a huge amount of, and if I was recording, I wouldn't record with this, I'd record probably with a plug-in. But yeah, a useful pretty tool, and at the price point, which I'll stick up on screen now because I can't remember, I think it's around €70. It's pretty impressive. So, there you go, the Pocket Master from Sonicake. I was going to turn it off. It's not the easiest unit to navigate. Shut down, gone. So, if you're looking for either like a really small portable device to bring to a remote location if you want to do a bit of recording, or indeed it's a really good gateway into recording guitar sounds. It's got a really good computer app and a really good phone app for you to be able to control it really, really well. It can loop, as I demonstrated. It's got a drum machine on board where you can sync up the app to your Bluetooth speakers and play drums through your Bluetooth speakers and then play along with it, and it'll do that really, really well. And also, as I mentioned in the audio demo, if you're looking for something to replace your amp, should your amp go down, that you can just throw in the front of your gig bag, I think this is a really good tool for that. The sounds are really, really good, and I think it would do that job very well. What it's not is in any way, in my opinion, giggable, right? It comes with a thing to put on your belt, a little buckle to put on your belt, but short of having one guitar sound per song and maybe cycling through them at the beginning, but then again I wouldn't rely on those two buttons on the floor. I suppose you could put it somehow on a mic stand and cycle through them with your hands. It's not a gigging tool to me. It's a home recording and practicing tool, but it is a good one. So thanks very much to Sonicake for sending this out, by the way. They sent it out to me as they send out most of their new releases. I've enjoyed playing it, and yeah, I guess that's the Pocket Master. So if you've watched the video this far, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out loads. And yeah, I'll see you in another video again soon. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Bye-bye.